Good morning, everyone. My name is Andy with Beyond Vertical Coasters. Now, I do want to sincerely apologize for not uploading a video in a while. I've been relatively busy with personal life as well as work. Now, I also want to apologize because this video that you're watching right now wasn't actually supposed to be the video that was going to be releasing this week. It was actually supposed to be the Kings Island SBNO vlog, but I didn't finish editing that video in time. So that's going to be pushed to 2 weeks from now. You'll see the SBNO vlog for Kings Island. So hopefully you're hyped for that. But in any case, I am uploading this video because I want to talk about some things. And honestly, this video is not scripted at all in the least. So whatever I'm saying is basically from the top of my head. And there's going to be a good time where I'm probably going to be saying some information that is entirely wrong. So if that does happen, let me know in the comments below and correct me because I am not perfect. But anyways, what I really wanted to talk about was my home park. Now, if you're unaware, my home park is Lagoon Amusement Park located in Farmington, Utah. And just in this month alone, there has been a lot of news that has dropped regarding the park for not only the remainder of this year, but also for 2026. And it's looking to be a really interesting time for Lagoon because I think this is the most that's ever come out of this park in such a short time frame. And if you have any opinions as well or anything of that sort, let me know in the comments below. I'm probably going to be saying that a lot throughout the video because there's quite a bit to talk about. I'm fumbling over my words. I'm sorry. I'm recording this at like 4 in the morning. Any case, the first piece of news that came out was just before October 6th, Lagoon was teasing something new. Now, at the very beginning of the 2025 season, we had noted that Cliffhanger, which is just to the north of Wild Mouse, had been completely demolished. That whole ride was practically gone, as you saw by the first SBNO vlog as well as other people who were posting about it. While it was sad to see that ride go, it made sense for it to go because it was a maintenance nightmare. For starters, the ride was open, or should I say it was closed more it seemed than it was open, and the only time it really got aligned was during the hot summer days when Rattlesnake Rapids in the back of the park was boasting a long line. And since it had the water features and was nice to cool off on, it garnered a line for the most part with that. But with it also being a huge maintenance nightmare, it made sense to get rid of that ride. And so yeah, at the very beginning of the year, we lost our ride. For pretty much all this year, a lot of people were speculating, well, Lagoon took out something, they have to put something in its place, right? Between my friends and I, we had been kind of bouncing around ideas of like what Lagoon could potentially replace it with, what could go there and whatnot. To be honest, the answer that we came up with was pretty much, it was a lame answer. We were kind of backtracking to Lagoon's history of what they do with rides and how they add things and whatnot. We presumed that just because we had just gotten the district this year, you know, with the new Zamperla Nebula, the retheming of the little helicopter ride to roller coasters, or not, sorry, rotors and ratchets. I think that's the right name. Don't quote me on that. And also the new Art Engineering swing ride, Steamworks, I think it is. But because we had just gotten pretty much 2 new rides this year, we didn't really expect them to put out a new ride. And so what we thought was that they were just going to probably extend the beer garden, probably add another eating area or something like that, because it seemed like the most sense at that time. But on October 10th, Lagoon had officially announced what was going to that plot of land. And turns out some people did note that in the northern end of the park, you know, the big field where sometimes used for overflow parking, they had noted that there were these huge pneumatic tanks, so to speak, and from what people were saying, it looked like parts for an S&S Scream and Swing. So it was kind of written there on the board, but to be honest, for myself being oblivious, I didn't expect it. But yeah, they announced a brand new S&S Scream and Swing, which is a brand new thrill ride coming to Lagoon in 2026, which is absolutely astonishing, at least in my opinion, because if you think about it, when was the last time Lagoon installed an actual thrill ride that wasn't a roller coaster? Can you think of what ride it was? And turns out the most recent thrill ride that was added to the park was Air Race, which was back in 2012. Yeah, it's been over a decade since we got an actual proper thrill flat ride. But now in 2026, we are getting a brand new one, as said, with the S&S Scream and Swing. From the looks of it, it's a perfect spot of land to even put it, and it's going to add to Lagoon skyline, which will make it stand out amazingly well. Now, of course, they had a big opening ceremony and whatnot, which unfortunately I wasn't able to attend because I was working. But when they announced the ride, they announced the whole theme and the name of it, which I actually have pulled up right here on my phone. So it says that the brand new ride is going to be named Nutcracker, which I'll get to in a little bit. It's going to have a maximum ride speed of 68 miles an hour, which is nearly as fast as the top speed of Cannibal, a minimum G-force of negative 0.42 Gs, which will give some great air time, I guess, float air time, a maximum G-force of 4.7 Gs, a static ride height of 105 feet, which is supposedly taller than Wicked's Tower, but from when I looked it up, isn't Wicked's Tower 110 feet? So I think that statistic is wrong. It's just slightly shorter than Wicked's Tower, so. But the dynamic ride height, so the max swing of it, is gonna reach 150 feet, supposedly. Pretty much the same height as the Sky Coaster, you know, the big arch thing where you suit up and it's an upcharge. Yeah, it's gonna be basically as tall as that. We're getting a new ride next year, and to be honest, it makes me really happy that we're getting a new thrill ride, because this is something that I've been saying that Lagoon needs for a long time. We need more thrill rides. Granted, Lagoon is a family-oriented park. It makes sense that they install brand new attractions that more cater to the families, but in most recent years, we've been noticing that they've been just adding a lot of kiddie rides. In the last couple of years alone, we've gotten more kiddie rides than we have actual big attractions. We desperately needed a new thrill ride, and this thrill ride fits the book. Not only are we just getting the new ride, but it's going to the south end of the park, which in my opinion desperately needed a brand new ride, because most of the rides that we have gotten recently have been more or less toward the north side for the bigger attractions. We got Primordial on that side, and we had Cannibal on that side. The most recent ride we've gotten has been Steamworks and the whole district area. So to finally have a new ride on the south end, it's kind of nice because it'll draw more crowds that way. And overall, I've been noticing, I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but I've been noticing that on kind of busier days, most people tend to gravitate toward the north end of the park for Cannibal, Primordial, Rocket, Samurai, and all that such, whereas the south side is kind of dwindled down quite a bit, apart from, of course, Colossus and Wicked garnering the longer lines. So to have a new ride finally in that back area is great. I am very, very happy about it. The only thing I'm really skeptical about is the name Nutcracker. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of a Nutcracker, I think of Christmas. They're naming it Nutcracker, and they said that it's going to tie in with the theme of the beer garden. Kind of makes sense, because it feels like Lagoon is trying to push more for that theming in regards to the most recent additions. I mean, again, with the district, we gotten some more theme with that way, and with Primordial, we had a ton of theming. In fact, I've said this before, I don't know if I said it on this channel, but Primordial is the best themed attraction in the entire park thus far. With the storyline and the way it was made, it's relatively well done for a park Lagoon size. Granted, it took a long time for it to open, like what, 8 years for it to open, but we'll blame the you know what for that. But yeah, the theme of Nutcracker is really, really weird. I would have presumed they would have gone with a different name for it, but supposedly Nutcracker works, and they're going to be putting a 50-foot tall Nutcracker in front of the ride to add to its theme. As much as the name is still meh to me, like I'm not really a huge fan of the name, I'll be honest, the way the ride looks, at least from the renderings that they gave us, which to be honest, those renderings are really top notch. I'm not gonna lie, they're really well put together. In fact, there's some video where they actually show the ride going with the roller coaster going in the front and whatnot. I'll see if I can put that up on screen right now. These renders look absolutely amazing, and not to mention the color scheme that they chose with it, with the white and blue. I mean, you know me, I love my blue. So to have a ride that's gonna pop like that in the skyline is gonna look absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to get out to Lagoon next year to ride this ride, and it's going to just look fantastic. And the ride is, I think, relatively a new ride on this side of the United States, because the only closest S&S Scream and Swing, I think, is at Glenwood Caverns in Colorado. Am I right on that one, or am I wrong? Let me know. The interesting thing to me, and I know this is kind of like a going off of it, but it's an S&S Scream and Swing. Yeah, sure. You know, people look at that and go, oh yeah, it's another flat ride off the shelf thing. We've known that Lagoon likes building a lot of their stuff in-house as of recently. Now, granted, that's more toward the roller coasters. For flat rides and whatnot, they've only kind of pushed it into, really, as far as I can think of, only one manufacturer. And that's been, as recently as Zamperla. With Lagoon's relationship with Zamperla, And also they have a good relationship with Art Engineering. I mean, Art Engineering helped to create Primordial and Cannibal and Bombora, as well as the new Steamworks ride as well. So Art Engineering was kind of tapping into the flat ride area for that portion as well. Now for S&S, on the other hand, there's only really one ride by S&S that's been made in the park, and that's of course Rocket. It's been a long time since we had a ride from S&S, so the fact that we're getting a brand new one is absolutely amazing. And plus it helps with Lagoon too, because Lagoon has been trying to keep a lot of things local. With S&S just literally down the road from Lagoon, just up north in Logan, it definitely makes sense, and it does tie in with Lagoon's locality. So it's great that we're having another relationship with S&S. Hopefully this means that we get more rides from S&S in the future at Lagoon. But yeah, so we're getting a brand new ride, and it's really exciting to see that come to life. With the addition of the brand new ride, we unfortunately got some news as of just last week at the time of recording this. And that is the fact that we are actually also losing a ride this year. It is Jetstar 2. Lagoon has officially announced that at the end of the 2025 season, they are retiring Jetstar and removing it from the park. Honestly, it's sad to me, because I love Jetstar 2. I really do. I don't get a chance to ride it that often because most of the time I go to the park alone, and we know that that ride does not allow single riders. But the times I get to go with my friends, my family, and I get to ride Jetstar 2, it's always fun to me. Jetstar 2 was my favorite roller coaster at the park before Cannibal opened. I know it's a wild take, but the reason why it was my favorite one is because it was my very first big boy roller coaster, so to speak. I rode Jetstar 2 before riding all the other rides, which is a little weird to think about. It brings a lot of nostalgia to me. It holds a very nostalgic place in my heart. The fact that they had announced that they are removing it at the end of the year, it devastates me. I understand why they are removing it though. The ride is relatively old. It's half the age of roller coaster at this point. It's been operating for almost 50 years. And not to mention, it's been operating well before that because it used to be on the German fair circuit. It's most likely reaching the end of its service life. Occasionally you'll see the maintenance workers going in and clocking those wooden blocks back in place because of how much the ride moves. It was a matter of time before we were going to lose Jetstar 2. And I'm very thankful that Lagoon is actually seeing the history of this, because it is a very well historic ride in the park. So much so that Lagoon has officially tacked on 2 more weekends for the 2025 season just for us to go out and ride Jetstar for the very last time. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be going out as much as I can to these next couple of weeks if I can get out there, see if I can get a ride on Jetstar 2. Hopefully I have somebody that can come with me, because riding it alone, you can't do that of course, but hopefully I'll have a friend or one that comes along. Or if any of you guys see me at the park and want to ride it too, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But yeah, we're losing Jetstar 2. And it also is sad in the fact that, you know, Schwarzkopfs are starting to become more and more defunct. If I remember correctly from what people were saying, that Jetstar 2 is the last operating Jetstar 2 model in the entirety of North America. It's a very big and historic ride, and we are losing that. While we do have the other Schwarzkopf in the park with Colossus, now this makes me a little bit worried, because we're starting to see Schwarzkopfs kind of bite the dust. I mean, we saw Scorpion just bite the dust. Now this makes me think, and this is probably going to be making people think as well, that now Colossus is on borrowed time as well. Now we have to wait and see what could happen to Colossus. We might lose Colossus in the near future. And also from what I've heard, the park had tried everything they could to keep both rides, or Jetstar I should say, not both rides, but it technically does apply to Colossus too, to keep both of the rides as operational as possible, to the point where they were custom manufacturing some parts for the ride based off of some of the original blueprints. I don't know how concrete that is, and I don't know if that's actually true. It is just based off of rumors of what I've heard throughout the years. If you get out to Lagoon, get a ride on Jetstar if you can this year. Get a ride on Colossus, because again, we don't know what's going to happen with that ride. Now, of course, with Jetstar being removed, the question now, what's going to replace it? According to Lagoon, on their Facebook post and Instagram post that they announced where they were removing, or they were retiring Jetstar 2, there's a little caption on the bottom that says, "Don't worry, we are planning a worthy successor," which leaves me and probably some other roller coaster enthusiasts out there to believe as well that we're probably getting another coaster to replace Jetstar 2. If it's a new coaster, that'd be awesome, considering the fact that we need another thrill coaster too. I mean, we're getting a thrill ride, so I mean, maybe they might not go with the thrill coaster. Their history now is kind of weird now with the newer generation taking over instead of the older generation. At this point, we don't know what could be coming to the park. We don't know what ride is going to be coming to the park. There are some things that I think I might have somewhat of an idea to. Just earlier in the video, remember how I said that Lagoon is now working with S&S Worldwide? Well, at least rekindling that relationship that they have with them. What if we see an S&S roller coaster at the park? That could be an option. It's definitely on the playing cards now. Maybe that they bought the Scream and Swing as a bundle deal with something with S&S. I don't know if this is actually concrete. So again, I'm just kind of speculating at this point. But with Cedar Point, you know, they had just revamped Top Thrill Dragster to become Top Thrill 2. But they also got the Zamperla Wild Mouse along with it. So it could potentially be another dual deal with Lagoon. I don't know. I know that's a big reach, but maybe we could get a new one. In fact, S&S barely finished the prototype on their brand new coaster called the Rail Rider, which is a new family-oriented take on a single rail coaster, which kind of uses the same track style, but a more modern version of it from the Aero Development Steeplechase. Maybe Lagoon could get a Rail Rider. Who knows? Another thing too is that Lagoon likes to build their coasters in-house. We said that earlier, we know that for a fact. I mean, we've seen it with the last 3 coasters. So it wouldn't shock us to know that maybe they're doing another one in-house. It's probably that. But the only question is, what are they going to do? Because according to Art Engineering's catalog, it doesn't really have that much. And we know that they love working with Art Engineering. So, hey guys, it's Andy from the Editing Den here. I know I just said that Art Engineering's catalog is relatively small. I just came to the website just to verify. And no, they have a pretty big catalog from the looks of it. Kiddie coaster, family launch, shuttle, etc., from what you see here on the page. But what's really intriguing is the fact that at the very bottom, it says custom designed attractions. Now, maybe Lagoon is planning a very specifically designed attraction. This is a very far reach, I'm aware, but that could be something. When you click on the page, though, it doesn't really give any information. It just kind of points out saying, hey, you know, if you have a custom design in mind, we can work around it and help you with it. So there's a lot of options that Lagoon could be going with our engineering. Or, wild card, what if we're getting a RMC single rail? If we get an RMC Raptor, a clone model, or even like a custom layout, even an RMC Moose would be just absolutely crazy to think about, because that would be a brand new kindling a relationship that will be just so cool. The biggest caveat that I have with this new planned coaster that they're planning is the plot of land that Jetstar 2 takes up isn't that big. So unless they push the footprint somehow in some way, shape, or form, a ride isn't going to fit there. At least not a big coaster or a medium coaster. So unless they add like a small family coaster, it might fit, but we already have a lot of family coasters at the park anyways. It's just really interesting to see what Lagoon can do with that plot of land. They may get creative, or they may just throw the roller coaster somewhere else and then change the area to maybe a seating area or something along the lines of that sort. We don't know. I don't know. Unless there's some people who have insider knowledge at Lagoon and, you know, want to drop some hints in the comments below, then we would love to know if possible. It's just fun speculating. Those are so far the biggest news pieces that I really wanted to talk about with Lagoon. Again, I love this park. It is my home park that I hold near and dear, and I just love its uniqueness. And the fact that the newer generation, it seems like, have decided to take this park in a completely different direction. I'm really excited to see what Lagoon has in store for the very near future. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the new S&S Scream and Swing that's coming? What do you guys think about Jetstar 2 being removed? Did you like Jetstar 2? Because for me, again, I'm sad to see it go, but I understand why it has to go. And what do you think will replace it? Do you think it'll be an S&S roller coaster? Do you think it'll be another in-house roller coaster? What could replace it? What could potentially happen? Anyways, sorry if this was a bit everywhere. Again, everything is off the top of my head. And before I go, there is a channel I do want to recommend to you. If you guys do want to see more Lagoon content, or like you want to know updates about the park more often than either I can update, go watch the XP Project. If you guys would go in the description and check out his videos, he gives great information about the park, and he's great when it comes to covering Lagoon. It's almost in its entirety. So I recommend go checking him out. He's a really cool guy, and I just say this because I enjoy watching the videos, and it gives me updates when I can't really get myself out to the park. Sorry, I'm blabbering. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Andy with Beyond Vertical Coasters, and remember, have a great day.